Welcome to Love It or Leave It Live or Else. After our big Pride blowout show last week, it's shame for the rest of the year. All right, let's get into it. What a week. YouTube removed videos from the January 6th committee as they include clips of Trump that the streaming service had already banned for election misinformation. I just want to be clear. Anytime someone tells you we're at risk of AI or algorithms taking over the world, just remember what they haven't yet been able to crack. Anyway, that's why Trump has been interrupting himself to sing songs from Encanto. Speaking of, during Monday's hearing, Arizona Republican House Speaker Rusty Bowers, or what happens when you type in stern grandpa into DALL-E, testified that he refused to be used as a pawn by Trump, despite being told by Rudy Giuliani that there was a legal theory the party could use to replace electors. Said Bowers, "This is a tragic parody." Tragic parody, a new fragrance by Rudy Giuliani. Bowers became emotional while talking about his horrific experience being harassed by Trump supporters, including a man with a gun who showed up outside his home to terrorize his wife and their gravely ill daughter.
We had a daughter who was gravely ill, who was upset by what was happening outside. And my wife, that was a valiant person, very, very strong, quiet, very strong woman. So it was disturbing. It was disturbing.
In other news, that man, Rusty Bowers, said this week he would still vote for Trump in 2024. Yeah, he said this. If he was up against Biden, I'd vote for him again. That's what he told the Associated Press, simply because what he did the first time before COVID was so good for the country, in my view. It was great. F. Scott Fitzgerald said the test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. So congratulations to Rusty Bowers, the smartest man in the world. Imagine weeping at a congressional hearing out of a sense of moral outrage after the president violated core precepts of a constitution that you yourself described as divinely inspired, and that president dispatched murderous thugs to your house, and you are still willing to vote for that person to keep taxes low and climate pollution flowing. It is depraved, it is incoherent, and sadly, those were two of the mission words that they did come up with at the Republican retreat. You know, when they do that exercise and you figure out the words that represent the brand, they're depraved and incoherent were two of their mission words. There's also values words and there are mission words. I don't know the difference. There's a difference, though, between values words and mission words. Meanwhile, former Michigan GOP chair Laura Cox was approached with a plan to hide fake electors in the Capitol overnight. I told them in no uncertain terms that was insane. Literally, their plan was to sneak just some rando Republican goons into the Capitol, have them hide in like cabinets and bathrooms, and then sneak into the chamber because according to the law, the vote had to be in the chamber. That was their plan for overturning American democracy. And they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those damn kids. The point is, we relied on like a handful of Republicans who had some kind of a line they wouldn't cross, but at the same time, it feels a bit like handing out medals to everyone who didn't put a bunch of puppies in a cement mixer. You know what I mean? Like, thank you for your service. Like, if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I think we should throw some puppies in a cement mixer, not doing it doesn't impress us. On Wednesday, federal investigators searched the home of former DOJ official Jeffrey Clark, during which Clark was hauled outside in his pajamas. Tough week for that guy, as Thursday's January 6 hearings were also entirely focused on his role in the coup. When presented with Clark's plan to leverage the DOJ to overturn the election at Trump's behest, former acting Deputy Attorney General Richard Donahue told Clark this.
And I said, that's right, you're an environmental lawyer. How about you go back to your office and we'll call you when there's an oil spill.
Giuliani leans into frame, black crude dripping from his face. I object. Hey man, this isn't a trial and you're not supposed to be at the DOJ. Get out of here, you freak. Meanwhile, when Trump lawyer John Eastman presented him with the plan, which he and the president had cooked up with Clark, White House lawyer Eric Hirschman told him this.
I said, good, John. Now I'm going to give you the best free legal advice you're ever getting in your life. Get a great effing criminal defense lawyer.
Now, they play this once a week at the hearings, and I don't mind. Also, like, that guy has been such a star in these things, it's enough to forget that the reason he's in the Trump orbit is he represented Trump in his first fucking impeachment. These are all people just like, I don't know, I guess my bar is like a tiny bit off the ground, you know? Anyway, Eastman misunderstood. He heard criminal defense lawyer and ended up with Rudy. He didn't understand he needed a criminal defense lawyer. Also in the hearing, former acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen recounted how Trump called to harangue him almost every day except Christmas, accusing the DOJ of not doing enough to address his false allegations of election fraud. Here's the thing, it is tough to plan a constitutional coup on Christmas because most of the lawyers are at the movies. Or maybe the perfect time when you think about it. Meanwhile, former White House aides testified that several House Republicans asked top officials to help arrange for pardons, naming Andy Biggs, Louis Gohmert, Scott Perry, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Matt Gaetz. It's a real who-who of people in Congress who have, at some point in their adult lives, accidentally eaten a button. Also on Thursday, the Supreme Court struck down New York's concealed carry law, ruling that the state's requirement that a prospective gun owner show proper cause to receive a license is unconstitutional. Whenever I'm in New York, I find myself thinking, this is cool, but I wish more people on this crowded Q train were armed. Thank you, Justice Thomas. Now, if you want a gun, you'll be required to show an improper cause, such as, I'm psychotic, or I want to frighten the teens who laughed at my orthopedic shoes. In his statement on the ruling, President Biden said he was deeply disappointed, adding, this ruling contradicts both common sense and the Constitution and should deeply trouble us all. Concluding his statement, Biden added, anyway, check this balance, popped a wheelie on his bike and pedaled away. The decision clears the way for challenges similar laws in California, New Jersey, Maryland, Hawaii, and Massachusetts. The decision also clears the way for the storylines in Escape from New York and Escape from LA to happen in the correct order. In a concurring opinion, Justice Alito pointed out that New York's concealed carry restrictions didn't stop the recent mass shooting in Buffalo. Added Alito, and if the law did prevent some mass shootings from taking place, why can't I name them? Why aren't newspapers reporting on all these events that didn't happen? No, what did I do wrong? I'm a professional. No, he didn't say that. The point is, you can't tell the mass shootings that didn't happen because of a gun law because the mass shooting didn't happen. You know? No, a lot of nodding. Alito seems to look at mass shootings the way I look at mozzarella sticks. It's not like you're going to have zero, so you might as well have all of them. Republican Senator Kevin Cramer from North Dakota said Wednesday that he seriously injured his right hand while doing yard work over the weekend and that his finger may need to be amputated. Was it yard work, Senator, or was it Lindsey Graham's vagina dentata? According to Uvalde's mayor, Robb Elementary, the Texas school where 19 children and 2 teachers were killed on May 24th in a massacre, will be demolished. As we all know, the only way to stop school shootings is to get dangerous schools off the street. Yeah, tearing the school down. That'll fucking help. Elon Musk says that Tesla will soon have a working prototype of its humanoid robot, Optimus. Elon Musk said the robot is inspired by Optimus Prime, who, Musk noted, never joined a union. I can't do the voice. It's very deep. Can't do it. Amazon has announced a potential new Alexa feature that will allow the smart assistant to read your story in the voice of your deceased grandmother. If your grandmother is still alive, don't worry, you can still enjoy this new feature. Just send her to Amazon in whatever condition she's in and they'll take care of the rest. The technology is still in its infancy, though. So far, the dead grandma voice is only able to recite a story about what it's like in hell. So you can get this Alexa, or you can just tell your actual grandma to remind you to buy lube. Meta abandoned their efforts for secure elections that they emphasized in 2020, instead directing all of their energy into the metaverse. If only abetting authoritarian coups gave Zuckerberg as much social anxiety as making small talk in the office kitchen. Speaking of the metaverse, this week Balenciaga, Prada, and Tom Brown all announced clothing lines in Meta's Avatar fashion store. A Meta spokesperson explained that the fashion houses are targeting that rare, discerning segment of the market that is too stupid for NFTs. Could you imagine taking out your credit card and buying a Prada bag for your fucking avatar? I'll probably do it. Want to look good in there. Also this week, Rupert Murdoch and his 4th wife, Jerry Hall. Remember that? I forget that. Anyway, they're reportedly getting a divorce after 6 years of marriage. Hear me out. I can fix him. And finally, COVID vaccinations have started for children under 5. It took scientists this long to figure out how to get the microchip small enough. All right.
monologue.